The family photos lined the coffee table perfectly. 16 years of birthdays, first days of school, Christmas mornings. But when Ellen asked Rebecca Adams to tell her about her daughter, her answer shattered everything. She's not really mine. Rebecca Adams, 35, sat in the interview chair, holding a manila envelope that contained the results of a DNA test she'd never wanted to take. Inside those papers was proof that the daughter she'd raised for 16 years, the girl she'd named Emma, wasn't biologically hers. The Ellen DeGeneres Show had invited Rebecca to discuss her experience with a new home DNA testing kit during their Science Week segment. The producers thought they were getting a heartwarming story about family heritage and genetic discovery. They had no idea they were about to witness the unraveling of everything Rebecca thought she knew about motherhood. Rebecca had taken the DNA test on a whim. Emma had been asking about her heritage for a school project, wanting to know about their Irish and Italian roots. The test was supposed to be fun, educational, a way to bond with her teenage daughter over their shared ancestry. Instead, the results had destroyed Rebecca's world. Emma shared 0 DNA with her, not the expected 50% that indicates a parent-child relationship. 0. The girl Rebecca had carried home from the hospital, had nursed through countless sleepless nights, had celebrated every milestone with, wasn't her biological daughter. Rebecca, Ellen began warmly, tell us about your experience with DNA testing. What made you decide to try it? Rebecca's hands trembled slightly as she held the envelope. Emma wanted to know about our family history. She's 16 and she was doing a genealogy project for school. Ellen smiled encouragingly. That sounds like a fun mother-daughter activity. It was supposed to be, Rebecca replied, her voice barely above a whisper. We were excited to see what we'd discover about our heritage. And what did you discover? Rebecca looked down at the envelope in her hands. When she looked back up, her eyes were filled with tears. I discovered that Emma isn't my biological daughter. The studio fell completely silent. Ellen's smile disappeared as she processed what Rebecca had just said. I'm sorry, what did you say? Ellen asked, certain she'd misheard. The DNA test showed 0 genetic relationship between me and Emma, Rebecca said, her voice growing stronger. She's not mine. Biologically, she's not my daughter. Ellen felt her chest tighten. Rebecca, how is that possible? We were born in the same hospital on the same day, Rebecca explained. 16 years ago at St. Mary's Hospital. I think the babies were switched. Ellen was speechless. In 15 years of hosting, she'd never encountered anything like this. You think there was a mix-up at the hospital? I know there was a mix-up, Rebecca said, pulling papers from the envelope. I've been investigating for 3 weeks since I got these results. Ellen looked at the DNA report Rebecca was holding. The numbers were clear, undeniable. Emma Adams showed no genetic relationship to Rebecca Adams. Rebecca, does Emma know about this? No, Rebecca said quickly. I haven't told her. How do you tell a 16-year-old girl that everything she believes about her identity is wrong? Ellen realized she was dealing with a situation that went far beyond entertainment. This was a family crisis that would change lives forever. Have you contacted the hospital? Ellen asked. They're investigating, Rebecca replied. But St. Mary's has been closed for 5 years. The records are archived, and it's taking time to find information about other babies born that day. Ellen felt overwhelmed by the implications. Rebecca, if Emma isn't your biological daughter, that means somewhere there's another family with your biological daughter. Yes, Rebecca whispered. And somewhere there's a woman who gave birth to Emma and has been raising my biological daughter for 16 years. The audience was frozen in stunned silence. Ellen had to ask the question everyone was thinking. Have you found the other family? Rebecca nodded, tears streaming down her face. Her name is Maria Santos. She's been raising my biological daughter, Sofia, for 16 years. Ellen's eyes widened. You've made contact with her? 3 days ago, Rebecca said. It was the hardest phone call I've ever had to make. How did that conversation go? She hung up on me, Rebecca admitted. She thought I was crazy, but then she called back an hour later and said she'd been wondering why Sofia didn't look like her or her husband. Ellen realized the magnitude of what was unfolding. "Rebecca, are you saying that both mothers suspected something?" "Not suspected exactly," Rebecca said carefully. "But looking back, there were always little things. Emma has green eyes, but neither I nor my husband have green eyes. She's incredibly musical, but no one in our family is." Ellen felt goosebumps rising on her arms. "And Sofia?" "Maria says Sofia has always been interested in science and math. Just like me. She has my exact nose, even though Maria never thought she looked like her." Ellen was struggling to process the emotional complexity of the situation. "Rebecca, I have to ask, how do you feel about Emma now, knowing she's not biologically yours?" Rebecca's answer came without hesitation. "She's still my daughter. DNA doesn't change 16 years of love, of scraped knees I kissed better, of bedtime stories I read, of every moment we've shared. But you also have a biological daughter you've never met." "Yes," Rebecca's voice broke. "Sofia, she's 16 years old. And I missed her entire childhood." Ellen felt tears forming in her eyes. "This is impossible, Rebecca. How do you process something like this?" "You don't," Rebecca said simply. "You just try to figure out what's best for everyone involved." Ellen made a decision that felt both necessary and terrifying. "Rebecca, I need to tell you something." Rebecca looked up, alarmed. "What?" "Maria Santos and Sofia are here today." Rebecca's face went white. "What do you mean?" "When you agreed to come on the show, you gave us permission to contact anyone involved in your story. We reached out to Maria, and she agreed to meet you." "They're here, now?" Rebecca's hands were shaking. "Yes, and Rebecca, so are Emma and your husband." Rebecca stood up from her chair. "You brought Emma here." "Ellen, I told you she doesn't know." "We didn't tell her why she's here," Ellen said quickly. "She thinks she's here to surprise you for Mother's Day." Rebecca felt the world spinning around her. "This is happening too fast. I'm not ready for this." "Rebecca, when will you be ready to face this? When will any of you be ready?" Ellen was right, and Rebecca knew it. This conversation had to happen eventually. The truth had a way of demanding to be told. "What if this destroys both families?" Rebecca asked. "What if hiding it destroys both families?" Ellen countered. Rebecca sat back down, trying to compose herself. "If we do this, if we bring everyone out here, there's no going back." "No, there isn't," Ellen agreed. "But Rebecca, these girls deserve to know the truth. Both families deserve the chance to process this together." Rebecca looked directly into the camera. "Emma, if you're watching this backstage, I need you to know that nothing I'm about to tell you changes how much I love you." Ellen felt chills. "Are you ready to meet Sofia?" "No," Rebecca said honestly. "But I need to." Ellen gestured toward the wings. A woman emerged slowly, hesitantly. Maria Santos, 34, walked across the stage with the cautious steps of someone entering unknown territory. Behind her came a teenage girl who looked exactly like Rebecca had at 16. Sofia Santos had Rebecca's nose, Rebecca's eyebrows, Rebecca's smile. The resemblance was unmistakable. Rebecca gasped audibly when she saw Sofia. "Oh my God!" Maria approached carefully. "Rebecca?" "Yes," Rebecca said, standing to face the woman who had raised her biological daughter. "This is Sofia," Maria said, her voice shaking. Sofia looked between the two women, clearly confused. "Mom, what's going on? Who is this lady?" Maria took a deep breath. "Sofia, this is Rebecca Adams. She's your biological mother." Sofia's face went through a series of emotions: confusion, disbelief, then shock. "What are you talking about?" "The hospital made a mistake when you were born," Maria explained gently. "You and another baby were switched." "That's impossible," Sofia said. But even as she said it, she was staring at Rebecca with growing recognition of their physical similarities. Ellen watched this exchange with a mixture of fascination and heartbreak. "Sofia, how are you feeling right now?" "Confused," Sofia said honestly. I don't understand how something like this happens. It's rare, but it happens, Ellen said gently. The question now is, what all of you want to do with this information? Rebecca spoke directly to Sofia. I want you to know that I don't expect anything from you. Maria is your mother. She's the one who raised you, loved you, been there for every important moment of your life. Sofia studied Rebecca's face. But you're my biological mother. Yes, but that doesn't make me your mom. Being a mother is about showing up every day, not about DNA. Maria stepped forward. Rebecca, I need to ask you something. Of course. Do you want a relationship with Sofia? Rebecca was quiet for a moment. I want whatever Sofia wants. And I want whatever's best for her. Ellen realized there was another person who needed to be part of this conversation. Rebecca, should we bring Emma out? Rebecca's face filled with panic. She's going to be so confused. Yes, she is, Ellen agreed. But she deserves to hear this from you, not from gossip or rumors later. Rebecca nodded reluctantly. Bring her out. Emma Adams emerged from backstage, looking excited and confused. At 16, she had the confident energy of a teenager who thought she was about to surprise her mother on television. Mom, Emma said, walking quickly across the stage. What's all this about? Rebecca's heart broke as she looked at the girl she'd raised, the daughter of her heart if not her blood. Emma, sit down. I need to tell you something very important. Emma sat down, her excitement fading as she noticed the serious expressions around her. Mom, you're scaring me. Emma, you know how we took that DNA test a few weeks ago? Yeah, for my school project. What about it? Rebecca held up the envelope. The results showed something we didn't expect. What kind of something? They showed that you and I aren't biologically related. Emma stared at her mother. What does that mean? It means there was a mistake at the hospital when you were born. You were switched with another baby. Emma's world visibly shifted. Switched with who? Rebecca gestured towards Sofia and Maria. Emma, this is Sofia Santos and her mother Maria. Sofia is my biological daughter, and you are Maria's biological daughter. Emma looked at Maria and Sofia, then back at Rebecca. This is a joke, right? Some kind of TV prank? It's not a joke, sweetheart, Rebecca said softly. Emma stood up abruptly. So you're telling me that my entire life is a lie? That I'm not really your daughter? You are my daughter, Rebecca said firmly. DNA doesn't change that. You're the daughter I raised, the daughter I love. But I'm not really yours, Emma said, her voice rising. I belong to her. She pointed at Maria. Maria stepped forward. Emma, you don't belong to anyone. You're not property. You're a person with your own identity. An identity based on a lie, Emma shot back. Ellen realized the conversation was spiraling. Emma, I know this is overwhelming. Overwhelming? Emma laughed bitterly. I just found out my entire life is fake. My mom isn't my mom, my family isn't my family. Sofia spoke up quietly. Emma, I feel the same way. This is just as confusing for me. Emma looked at Sofia for the first time. Do you want my life? Do you want my mom? I want to understand what this means for all of us. Sofia replied, with surprising maturity. Ellen made a decision to redirect the conversation. What if instead of thinking about what you've lost, you think about what you might gain? What do you mean? Emma asked. You're not losing a mother, Ellen explained. You're potentially gaining another mother. And Sofia, you're not losing a mother either. You're potentially gaining one. Rebecca spoke to Emma. Sweetheart, nothing about how I feel about you has changed. You're still my baby, still my first phone call when something exciting happens. Still the person I'm most proud of in the world. But she's your real daughter, Emma said, looking at Sofia. There's no such thing as a real daughter versus a fake daughter, Rebecca replied. There are daughters you give birth to and daughters you raise. I happen to raise you instead of giving birth to you, but that doesn't make you less mine. Maria addressed Sofia. Mija, you are my heart. Finding out about Rebecca doesn't change that, but it might mean we have more people to love us. Ellen watched these families navigate impossible emotions in real time. "What happens now? I think we all need time to process this," Rebecca said. "This isn't something you figure out in one conversation." "But how do we even begin?" Maria asked. Ellen had an idea. "What if you started by getting to know each other? No pressure, no expectations, just curiosity about the people you're connected to." Sofia looked at Rebecca. "What was I like as a baby?" Rebecca smiled through her tears. "According to the hospital records, you were born at 3:47 a.m., weighing 7 pounds, 2 ounces. You had a full head of dark hair." "I did have a lot of hair," Sofia laughed. "Mom always told me that." Emma turned to Maria. "What was my birth like?" "You came 2 weeks early," Maria said. "I went into labor during a thunderstorm. The power went out right after you were born." "I've always loved thunderstorms," Emma said quietly. Ellen realized something beautiful was beginning to happen. "You're starting to fill in pieces of each other's stories." "It's strange," Sofia said. "I feel like I should feel more, I don't know, emotional about this." "There's no right way to feel," Ellen assured her. "This is unprecedented for all of you." Rebecca looked at Maria. "What do you think we should do?" "I think we should let the girls decide," Maria replied. "They're old enough to choose what kind of relationship they want with each other and with us." Emma and Sofia looked at each other. "Do you want to get to know each other?" Emma asked. "Yeah," Sofia said. "I've always wanted a sister." "You're not really my sister," Emma pointed out. "No, but we're connected in a way that's pretty unique," Sofia replied. Ellen felt hope beginning to emerge from the confusion. "What about you, Rebecca and Maria? How do you feel about staying in touch?" "I'd like that," Rebecca said. "If Maria is comfortable with it." "I think we should try," Maria agreed. "For the girls' sake, and maybe for our own." Ellen addressed the audience. "What we're witnessing here is unprecedented. 2 families discovering they're connected in the most intimate way possible, and choosing to navigate it with grace and love." The episode continued for another hour as the families asked questions, shared stories, and began to understand the magnitude of their situation. Ellen facilitated conversations about practical matters. Would the girls want to switch families? Would they want to maintain relationships with both mothers? The answers were complex. Emma and Sofia decided they wanted to stay with the mothers who raised them, but they also wanted to develop relationships with their biological mothers. It wasn't about replacing anyone. It was about expanding their definition of family. Rebecca and Maria became unlikely friends, bonding over their shared experience of loving children who weren't biologically theirs, but were completely theirs in every way that mattered. The hospital that had made the original mistake was eventually held accountable. The investigation revealed systemic problems with their identification procedures that had affected other families as well. Ellen kept in touch with both families as they navigated their new reality. The adjustment wasn't always smooth. There were moments of jealousy, confusion, and grief for the relationships that might have been. But there were also moments of joy. Emma discovered she had inherited Rebecca's love of science, explaining her aptitude for subjects her adoptive family had never understood. Sofia found in Maria a kindred spirit who shared her artistic sensibilities. Both girls graduated high school with 2 families cheering them on. Both chose colleges that would allow them to maintain relationships with both mothers. Ellen attended both graduations, watching as Rebecca and Maria sat together, proud of the young women they'd helped raise, regardless of biology. The story became a testament to the fact that families aren't just born, they're made through love, commitment, and the daily choice to show up for each other. Because sometimes the most beautiful families are the ones that choose each other, over and over again, even when DNA reveals that the choice was made before anyone knew they were choosing. Rebecca kept both girls' baby pictures on her desk. Emma's from the day she brought her home, and Sofia's from the day they met. Both were her daughters, in different ways, at different times, but with equal love. And in the end, that love proved stronger than any test results, any hospital mistakes, any confusion about what makes a family real. The truth had set them free, not to start over, but to love more deeply, more broadly, more authentically than they ever thought possible.